Hey everybody, welcome to episode 4 of the GFI Racing League podcast. Before we fully get into it today, I just wanted to mention that the interviews are going to drop later this week on Wednesday because Cup is off this week. That's why this episode is dropping on Monday. Make sure you tune in next Monday for our Talladega race in the Cup Series. That'll be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you're tuning in here. And with that, let's get into it. Welcome everybody to episode 4 of the GFI Racing League podcast. We've actually got a guest for this episode, Austin Sheff, driver the number 41, and our Monday broadcaster that we're so thankful for. So thank you for joining us for this episode.
Yeah, no problem.
We had a pretty good week of racing, I would say. I did all 4 races personally and had a great time in all of them. Even though some had some struggles, they were pretty good. What would you say about your week, Austin?
I mean, I may have only ran one race in the Xfinities, but it was quite the rough one. Definitely, I was the first caution, unfortunately. Burnt up my tires too much at Darlington in the Xfinity series. Just burnt it up, hit the wall, and then collected another driver with me, so that kind of ended my race.
Sorry about that. Yeah, Darlington's a tough track. Definitely too tough to tame for me. But I guess we'll just go ahead and start with the Cup race, which you broadcasted for us. How did it look from your view?
Looked pretty good. Definitely, I did not. I was really expecting a couple more cautions, but throughout the race in the booth, I was really debating on who was going to win because Dylan was running really good up front. Kyle was running good up front. Jordan Barnes was doing pretty good too. A lot of like these drivers that are typically in the back were right towards the front, and they were just really fast throughout the week.
For sure. And I thought it was a pretty good race. It was a lot cleaner than I thought it would be. Even though this was a race that had 9 cautions, and this was at Bristol, we did 125 laps total with 9 lead changes in this one. But I didn't think it was overall a bad race.
Yeah, definitely better than Martinsville. Martinsville was definitely rough.
Ooh, yeah.
Let's not go to depth on that one. That one's really bad.
You had
But
to
yeah,
fill a lot of moments just talking within that one, huh? Because it seemed to slow down a bit.
oh yeah, 100%. I felt like it was just a never-ending race at this point. I felt like 24 hours at Le Mans.
I guess that'll bring us into qualifying, which you can read off for us.
The pole winner was Sean Purcell in the number 74. He led 6 laps, ended up P30. P2 was Ralph Gilbert in the number 26, Ajax.
Yeah, I thought those were some really fast times that they set in qualifying. It was a mix up of who was really going to end up on pole, but Sean does a really good job being fast each week. But so does Ralph. And for the race results, in P1, we had Kyle Purcell, the number 16. He led 61 laps actually and started P7. That's a lot further back from his brother this week. And then Dylan Hartman in the number 90 came P2 for FHR. He led 37 laps and started P3. And then finishing in P3 was myself, Nick Norris, number 35 for Tag E Racing. I actually led 13 laps. Pretty happy about that. Started P8. One of my really good races. Really happy with this one. And if you want to take us into our most improved position of the race.
So Michael Barksdale, the double O, started P32, finished P6, gained 26 spots on the day.
That's pretty crazy to do at Bristol. I have no idea how he came up with that. What did you watch him on the broadcast? Do you have any idea how he accomplished that?
If I had to take a really, really good guess, my guess is he was saving tires pretty well, and he was just avoiding the wrecks when he needed to, and just making his way through the pack nice and slow.
All in all, really good job. But that'll bring us into our biggest fall, which was actually our pole sitter, Sean Purcell. But he also tied this spot with Ralph Gilbert. They started 1-2. Sean finished 30. Ralph finished 31st. They both dropped 29 spots. I'm sure that's not at all what they wanted to see at the start of this race, and we're looking for different things. Too bad for them. Wishing them some better luck next week.
I will say from the booth, it was quite shocking that they fell that much. And it was
Right.
pretty early in the race. I mean, they're really fast. I mean, they can keep it consistent around the racetrack. It's very rare to see them spin, so it's definitely rough seeing them fall that much.
Yeah. I guess it's things like that that leave opportunity for others like me to finish P3 because there's definitely weeks that are quicker than me and finishing a lot better than me. But that'll bring us into team points, and the leader of the team points is Ajax One Racing. No change for them this week in terms of their position in the points. They've got 562 total points. They gained 63 this race with two top fives. And then in second is Tag E Racing. They're up one spot with 445 total points, up 62 in this race, getting one top five and one top 10. And then in third is Velocity -1 with 438 total points, plus 53 in this race with one top 10. Not enough to hold that spot off from Tag. That's the team I'm part of. I'm glad we took that spot back this week with some good performance. And we were the only team to gain one spot, and then Velocity was the only team to lose one. And that'll bring us on into driver points.
So our points leader is Kyle Purcell. He's up one spot for 262 points. Since he got the win, he got 43 points. Second, we have Mitchell Sundstrom in the number 22 Ajax car. He lost one. He's at 250 points. He gained 13 points from his race. And third, we have Davis Brown in the number 6 Ajax car. Up one spot, gained he's at 227 points, and he's up 25 spots. 25 points, sorry.
So that was a pretty interesting mix up in points for the teams. It's really close between Tag and Velocity. That can change week per week. They're getting a little bit closer in driver points. What do you think?
Yeah, they're definitely getting close. It's going to definitely become a wire when we get into the playoff stage.
Oh yeah.
Kyle Purcell's doing an amazing job. He's picked up I think it's first win of the Cup Series, but he's been dominating some of the other series as well, like ARCA and Xfinity, and just been running amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to the playoffs and see how that all shakes out at the end of the season. All right, and that'll bring us into the Xfinity race. This was at Darlington this week. It was an 80-lap race with 2 cautions and 8 lead changes. What did you think of this race? You were in it?
Yeah, I was in it. I kind of discovered the line. I had to turn on the racing line. I know that's something pretty bad, but I had to do it because I had no idea on what I was doing at this track. Felt
Hey,
pretty slick. It was a cold 70 degrees Fahrenheit, but yeah, it's definitely pretty rough. I mean,
I
you
don't
know,
I don't
a
blame
track.
you because I used the racing line the whole race in GT3, so I get that.
The pole winner, it was Quint Hightower in the 45 for Velocity. Led 19 laps, finished ninth. In P2, we have Nicholas Warboy in the 88 for Misfit, finished 16th.
And then for our race results, in P1, winner of the race, Mitchell Sunstorm in the number 22 for Ajax. He led 10 laps. And then in P2 was Kyle Purcell in the number 16. He actually started P7, so gained a lot of spots in this one. And he did lead 42 laps, but didn't have enough to bring it in for at the end. And then in P3 was Michael L. Nelson in the number 15 for Tag E Racing. He started P5. A really good race from him. He's really wanting to win one of these races, I know, personally, since he's in my team. So hopefully we do see that soon.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard he's actually really good. It would be kind of nice to get a first win. I know a lot of these drivers are really striving for that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know that first win always feels great. I mean, I've experienced my first win, and boy, was I hype about it.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it. I feel like there's a couple weeks I really took away my chances. But I think this week I had a lot of new things in mind through all the interviews I've done with people and approaching things a little bit differently. And I've had a really good week. So I'm going to continue to just try to put myself in good positions to get that first win in this league, which I'm really looking forward to. And that'll bring us into our most improved position.
Most improved position was Ralph Gilbert, number 26 for Ajax. Started P24, finished fourth, gained 20 positions.
That's pretty cool. He's a driver that just seems to work his way through the field, no matter where he's really starting. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, Darlington is definitely a tough track. So to see that many spots gained in an 80 lap Darlington race is pretty spectacular.
Indeed. Something that wasn't so spectacular was our biggest fall of the race. It was Nicholas Warboy in the number 88. No, he really did not want to see this. He races for the Misfit team. He dropped 14 positions, and he started P2 like we talked about earlier and finished in 16th. This is just another week where he got into some stuff, and I know he's frustrated, but we're looking forward to seeing him get some really good results soon.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, He definitely tried his best last week in Xfinity or the week before, whatever the Daytona race was. He was running pretty good in that race.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's just Darlington's definitely a tough track, so I don't blame him for losing 14 spots. I mean, it's just it has such that weird shape to it. Like turn one's wider than turn three and four, so you kind of got to switch up your strategy as you go.
Yeah, I know he's going to get it one of these weeks. But that'll bring us into the team points for this series. The leader, this is exactly like Cup again this week, which is just interesting how the Cup points and Xfinity team points just seem to line up. For I think we're on like 3 weeks in a row now or something like that. But the leader is Ajax One Racing. No change for their position. 340 total points, up 75 points this week with two top fives. Second is Tag E Racing, up one spot this week in the standings with 275 total points, up 66 in this race with two top fives as well. And then in third is Velocity Motorsports, dropping a spot with 270 total points, up 54 in this race with just one top 10. Again, just like Cup, they didn't have enough to beat us this week, and we ended up jumping that spot back, and we're sitting second again. So we're pretty happy about that. And the big mover was actually Dirty Air, who also went up one, and they're in P7 now. And a big drop was FHR, who dropped one and are in P8 now. What do you think about those team points?
The team points are definitely looking strong. Ajax with a pretty big lead as we
Indeed.
go into the next week. Definitely spectacular. Really close between Tag and Velocity though. Only a 5 point difference. That is very close. It's going to come down to the wire as we finish off the season.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible to watch these two teams compete week to week and jump and drop, and it's gonna be interesting even next week because they're so close. Who's where? But you can take us into our driver points for this week.
So our driver points, our leader is Ralph Gilbert in the number 26 Ajax car, 169 points, up 34 with a top five. Second is Kyle Purcell in the number 16, 161 points, up 38 points with a top five. Third, we have Mitchell Sunstorm, number 22 for Ajax, 158 points, up 41 points with a win.
Yeah, so no change in the top three for the driver points again this week. Just three people that seem to keep performing every week, outperforming everybody else. They're really holding their spot up there.
Yeah, I mean Mitchell. I bet it feels really good for him to come away with the win in Darlington. I was honestly shocked when I heard from a little birdie. He said that there's only two cautions. So when I heard that, I was like, that is actually spectacular. I was shocked to hear that because it's a pretty hard track. But good job for Mitchell for coming away with the win at Darlington.
Yeah, these drivers that show up for the Xfinity series, they seem to do a really good job. We do not often see a lot of cautions, so I'm going to continue to be proud racing in this series and having it be a pretty clean series.
100%. Definitely some struggles at Daytona, as there's quite a few cautions in that one.
Isn't there
But
always?
oh yeah, Daytona is just the madhouse for the big one. But yeah, Darlington, really good race. I like the Xfinity series. They're doing really good this year. I really do enjoy it.
And that'll take us into the GT3 race. This was at the Indy Road Course this week. We ended up running 24 laps in the 35 minutes of this race. Did you pay attention to this race at all, or?
Honestly, if I would be completely honest, I'm probably gonna get called a cringe for this, but I was actually at the Minecraft movie, so I had
Ooh,
no idea.
cool, cool. Hope it was good. So,
Oh, it was good. There wasn't many chicken jockeys, but
oh, had to get one in there.
oh yeah.
All right, well, just go ahead and talk about the qualifying then.
Our pole winner was Tyler Carson in number 34 for Sen in the Merc AMG, led 24 laps, faster by a second overall. 1:25.895 was his qualifying time. P2 was actually Nick Norris in the number 35 for Taggy Racing. In the Audi R8, ran 1:26.867 was his final qualified lap time.
Yeah, I forgot to mention I know I guess mentioned it a little ago, but I was in this race. It was a really good race. I had a pretty good time myself. Uh, Wish I finished where I started, but I'll talk about that in the race results right now, where our winner was Tyler Carson this week, the number 34 for Ascend. Did another really good job at this track. Like you said, his overall lap time was a second faster than anyone else's that was even close, and then anyone behind that, it was just a further gap. And then his brother ended up finishing P2, jumping me in the number 94 for Ascend. He also drove the Mercedes AMG, This ends up being a really fast car. We talk about that a little bit in our interview with him later. But I've ended up finishing in P3 in the number 35. That is me. But it was a really good race. We didn't have too much trouble, and I think everybody enjoyed it. But you can lead us on to our most improved position.
Our most improved position was Brandon Beckstead in the number 92. He started P7 and finished P4, up 3 spots.
This is something I didn't want to mention, but our biggest fall was Keith Martinson in the number 58. We had him on the podcast 2 weeks ago. He started P6 and finished P9 in this one, dropping 3 spots. I hear he's getting used to a new wheel, and that'll bring us into the team points for this series. Our leader is Ascend Motorsports with 1,493 total points. Second is Velocity Motorsports with 1,270.5 total points. And then third is FHR Motorsports with 836 points. The big movers in the team points, Taggy Racing up 1 spot. Just because of me being here, we jumped into P5, and then Misfit dropped one, and they're in P6 now. And you can take us into our driver points.
So our points leader so far is Tyler Carson for the number 34 for Ascend Motorsports. Has 1,620 points, up 385 points. Second, we have Cody Carson, the number 94 for Ascend Motorsports, up 1 spot with 1,502 points, up 350 points. Third, we have Clifton Chanel, the number 80, losing a spot, has 1,469 points, up 286 points.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this series continues to shake out. Those top three there are all really good road racers. It'll be interesting to see how those points continue to go. I think Cliff is on the edge of a win. I really do.
Yeah, especially after we obviously discussed that about the Mercedes. I feel like he has a really high chance to catch them if he, as long as he like practices. He picks the right car
Right.
and a really fast car. Just pays attention to the lap time of the others and just kind of like see if he can get faster. I definitely feel like he will come away with a GT3 win.
Yep, and those brothers up there have done a really good job. All right, that'll bring us on into the ARCA race. This was at Kansas Speedway this week. It was a 70-lap race with 2 cautions and 12 lead changes. It was a really good race. I was in this one. Not a lot of trouble again in the ARCA series. We continue to do a pretty good job on track, stay pretty clean as we possibly can. The track was pretty difficult, but not like Darlington, not too tough to tame, a lot more tameable, I guess I would say. You weren't in this one, were you?
Yeah, I was just adminning it. Yeah, because Keith was testing out the new wheel and Phil has had some bad weather, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a really good race. Kind of fun to watch. Definitely interesting.
So what did it all look like from your view?
Well, my camera wasn't wanting to cooperate, so sometimes
Oh,
the track would completely disappear. So I had to like mess with the camera angle a little bit. But otherwise, from where I watched it from the chopper or the blimp, it was pretty nice. The strategy that they had going, it was really nice, and obviously the ability to ride the right along the wall is just nice. And I noticed it kind of gives you that speed that you need to if you need it, but definitely a good race overall.
for sure. And I personally feel like more of these races continue to be won on pit road. People making some really smart strategy choices, no matter what track we're at.
So for qualifying, our pole winner was Lucas Chapman in the number 17, led 16 laps. And in P2, we have Kyle Purcell in the number 16, led 27 laps, finished P4.
Really good job out of both of them. Kyle was close to getting that pole position. Uh, but still, two cars that really seem to perform this week. And that'll bring us on into our race results, which our winner of this race was Lucas Martin in the number 57 for LA Motorsports. We've actually got an interview coming up with him later where we'll talk about how he led the two most important laps and started P6 and ended up just having the perfect race for himself. And in P2 was Lucas Chapman in the number 17. And then in P3 was Preston O'Brien in the number 18 for Tag E Racing, started P10. Really good job there. And our most improved position, you could take us on to that.
Preston O'Brien for number 18 Taggy Racing started P10, finished P3, up 7 spots for the improved position.
Yeah, he had a really good race and didn't have too much trouble. a really good day for him. I know he was happy with that, as he's had some not so good days, just like myself and us, some of us out there, of course, not always having great days. But like our biggest falls of this race, Tyler Ottery, the number 24 for Misfit, he started P4 and finished P11. He actually had the fastest lap of this race and led 17 laps, but he fell 7 spots. And I know this wasn't the day he was looking for. I was really rooting on him actually when I saw him up front. I thought he could finish really well, and it was pretty sad to see him run into trouble. And then Andy Innes also tied him for this position in the number 51 for LA Motorsports. He started P7 and finished P14, also dropping 7 spots.
Definitely noticed. I heard a couple issues. I heard Lucas Martin. The guy accidentally got into Andy and kind of went haywire from there. And then but Andy just became the spotter and led him to that victory. So good job for Lucas coming away with that win. Uh, Definitely a rough race for definitely a couple drivers, whether it was damage or just a little bit of netcode issues. But otherwise, I feel like it's a really good race and really clean.
Apparently, it was a good day to be a Lucas in this race because one started on pole and one won the race. And I also did talk to him in the interview about how he had that spotter and the incident that he got in.
Accidents happen sometimes. It happens anywhere. Honestly, you'll wreck your teammates. It happens. Whether I mean, the thing is, it's just a race at the end of the day. You got to be happy for one another. It's all about teamwork, and teamwork makes the dream work. But definitely overall, good race for LA Motorsports this week.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for being here throughout this episode. Is there anything you want to close us off with?
Remember, every Monday I am broadcasting the Cup Series on the YouTube channel. I go live at 7 p.m. Central Time or 8 p.m. Eastern. Uh, Next time it's Talladega, and looking forward to see a lot of you guys there.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. That one's going to be entertaining for sure, and you're going to want to tune in.
Yeah, you got to watch out for the big one at Talladega.
I personally will try my best because I'll be out there on track. So hopefully your camera's not panning to me with a demolished race car or flipping through the infield. All right, just me here with y'all now. So I'll finish this podcast off by going through the ARCA series points. Let's start with the team points. The leader is Tag E Racing, the team I'm part of. We've got 284 points, up 66 with 2 top 5s. Really good performance today. We're really proud of that, and we're looking forward to next week and trying to keep this up and keep ourselves in the lead, at least in ARCA, and try to get there in Cup and Xfinity as well. And then in second is Misfit Racing with 239 points, up 27 this week. And third is Dirty Air Motorsports with 227 points, up 44 this week. The points are pretty close. That could change week to week. If somebody gets a win in one of those teams, that could definitely bump them up. And if we don't finish in the top 10 or out of the top 15, that could be really bad for any of us. So we'll see how that continues to go. One big drop in the teams is FHR. They dropped 3 this week. And then in driver points, we've got Kyle Purcell in the number 16. He's in the lead with 191 points, up 35 in this race with a top 5. In second is Lucas Chapman in the number 17 with 159 points, up 36 with a top 5. And then in third is Brian Troy in the number 4 for Tag E Racing. He's got 139 points, up 28 with a top 10. He's had some pretty good weeks, and he's kept himself in the top 3 of the driver points. Good job to all those drivers having some good days out there and keeping themselves where they need to be. And you can see me right below Brian actually move up a little bit. So looking forward to this series and going on. Anyways, thank y'all for listening to this podcast. Hope you did enjoy it. And remember to join us back on Wednesday. Look out for the interviews that'll be dropping on the GFI Racing League YouTube channel. And then catch us next Monday for the Talladega race. Thank y'all.